All right, good afternoon, everyone. Mastermind with Neil Schwartz and our special guest from Las Vegas, Nevada, Alex Adabashi. Let's give him a big welcome. All right. Good job, good job, good job. Alex, very
Yes.
nice. Thank you so much for joining us today. Alex, when we were in the other room just chatting, and I was putting on my gray suit, my gray jacket, red, blue. And I normally wear a blue jacket, so I guess the camera just picked up a blue jacket, but it was a very blue jacket and a very black tie. So excuse me for not wearing a jacket today. This is gonna go down in recorded history as no coat. But that would have been funny looking, and we don't want to do that. Okay, Alex is joining us from Las Vegas, California. I had a chance to meet him when we were at the Superstar Retreat last week, and it's kind of he's got a really interesting story and does a lot of cool stuff. However, what was kind of took me back was that you're in the same office, I believe, as two other superstars that were on the stage, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Good. And you're with which office in go ahead.
Huntington and Ellis in Las Vegas.
Huntington and Ellis in Las Vegas. Good. And I don't know, do you directly compete with them, or do you actually compete with them?
Yes. Yeah, we go after the same listings and same properties.
Same listings, same expireds, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
Sometimes they win and sometimes you win, right?
That's right.
So it really doesn't matter. And you guys are using the Mike Ferry system for the most part, right?
That's it. All of us.
Isn't that interesting?
It is.
Why do you think, let me back up. Agents that we talk to from time to time don't want another Mike Ferry agent in the office because they don't want them to have all the secret tools. Okay. The secret handshake, all the things that we do different, right?
Right.
But clearly that's not bothering you.
Not at all.
Why do you think?
It actually makes our office and the agents in our office appear to be even stronger, having several agents as professional as we are. It's a boost to the credibility and our presentations to these sellers.
Well, that's great. Good. So, and you guys are professional enough not to bash each other, things like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of the times that conversation comes up, hey, we're interviewing Dan and John from your office. Fantastic. Both excellent choices. It's great that you're doing your due diligence and can make an educated decision.
Good. Excellent. And then you do a presentation, but your presentation's probably going to be similar to the scripts and dialogues they use, or no?
Very similar.
Very similar. Okay. What's some of the distinguishing differences that you use that set you apart, do you think?
Well, all three of us have different personalities, which is great. So that's one thing that is a big deciding factor for a lot of sellers. Some of them, don't like the super aggressive nature of some don't like the analytical style of the others. So being versatile is super important to kind of, show them all sides of me personally. And, I like to go in first and say, hey, I can call the other guys in the office, let them know we decided to work together and get it done. So I don't want them going first.
Interesting. So you make it a mission to get in there first.
That's right. Same day if possible.
Interesting. Got it. Okay. So let me ask you, and how often do you come out with the listing by going in first?
I would say half the time I get it first by going in first.
Okay. Excellent. It's a good thought. Usually Mike will say go in last, but it's go in last when not everybody's making a similar presentation.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're
Interesting.
going up to two or three other sharp guys, then you need to be as early as possible.
Great thought. Good thought. So give us a little Reader's Digest version of your story. How'd you get started in real estate? How'd you end up in Las Vegas? How'd you end up in that office?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was fortunate to be born and raised in Vegas. It's a cool place to grow up. We had a lot
You're
of
the
fun.
only one, right?
What's that? Yeah,
You're the only one.
Everybody else moved here. So my father owns a successful sign company here in town, and I was working with him, and I was 17, 18 years old, right out of high school. And we were doing a sign for a real estate appraiser that moved from Orange County to Vegas. And the appraiser was like, hey, I'm looking for a young guy, to kind of teach the ropes. And, this was before things were digital. We had to take photos with 35mm cameras, take the film to get developed at Walgreens. And that's what he needed. And my dad said, hey, if that sounds like something you'd like to do, this guy has a spot open. And it accelerated from there. You have to be an intern for 2 years back then. You work for nothing. I was one of the youngest licensed appraisers in Las Vegas at 20 years old. And that took me through a great 10 years. I mean, we made a lot of money. We had a very successful business. And then everything stopped. 2008, we didn't even see it coming. And overnight, all of our business was gone. All the relationships we made with the biggest banks in the United States, we were their on-staff appraisers and mortgage companies local. It literally, in 24 hours, everything was gone. So I didn't know what to do. The phones weren't ringing. The banks weren't loaning money. They weren't refinancing. We had no business. So I decided, make some calls around, see what was going on. And everything started turning to the REO, real estate owned foreclosure business. And there was a broker that I did a lot of appraisals for. He was one of HUD's brokers. And he offered me a great spot. He's like, Alex, I was an appraiser. I know what you're going through. Come work for me. All the banks that we sell their properties, they need valuations on the properties, monthly, weekly, and your experience is what I need. So that covered us for several years, for about 2008 to 2012. He had, imagine, 300 to 400 listings at all times for a several year period. He had a huge, very efficient team. We did the valuations. That's all that was going on. In 2012, when the REO started to dry up, I started looking at more of the retail business like we all do now. I found an old dusty Mike Ferry book in the corner of the library that we had in the office. It was called Real Estate According to Mike Ferry. And it was simple and laid out. I'm like, wow, this makes sense, and this was working with people versus working with the banks, because they don't, it's all computers and, very, very simplistic system. So that's the long and short of where I am today. When I got into residential retail, I looked for 2 offices in Vegas that I knew had high producing agents, that I knew I've seen at some Mike Ferry events. I interviewed both, saw the offices. I saw these guys that were only in the business a few years and they were closing 100 deals a year. And I'm like, this is the spot to be. So I landed here. I've never left, and it's been going great ever since.
For you. Fantastic. Last year was a little bit of an off year. The year before that, how many deals did you do?
83 personal closings the year before. And I have a licensed assistant, Neil, and I have a buyer's or showing agent, just one. Their deals don't count in my production. So
About how many
83,
deals does the buyer agent deal?
are on track for 20 this year. So
20
that's
this year.
been their average. Yeah.
Got it. And last year you dropped off, as a lot of agents did, what, into the 50s or so?
Yeah, it's like 51 last year,
Got it.
which was, disappointing. But that's figured out how to quickly turn that around.
And this year out on track for
77
77. And that's
Yeah.
personal again.
personal.
Got it. Most of the 77 are all listings or mostly listings?
90% listings.
90% listings. And your business comes from
So
mostly.
fortunately, yep, I was born and raised in Vegas, as I mentioned. So I have a really awesome sphere and past clients. That's my number one. But I do work the Mike Ferry system very, very religiously. I get at least 2 to 3 expired listings a month. My just listed, just sold business is huge. I mean, these people aren't being called. I don't think they've ever been called. And just this morning, there's random, some gal was like, that's so weird. You called. She's like, I'm getting a divorce. We got to get the house sold. Great. When can we meet? I mean, those calls happen more often than not these days. It's pretty cool. And Neil, I was telling you earlier, expanding into something new. I was able to just grind on an estate attorney for the past 16 months, and finally been getting regular listings from this office. They do estate sales. They're not all a pain in the butt probate. Some of them are like, hey, the family's out of state, they're the executor. They said, find a realtor for us. And that is just lay down, hand me down business. It's amazing that we all need to expand and push for new opportunities like that.
Alex, let's talk about that for just a minute, because you identified a particular lawyer or law firm in the beginning that you thought does a decent amount of business.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you approach that? First of all, did you know them? Do they have any, no. So this is a cold source.
Yes.
Okay, so give us a little bit of an insight on how you approach them.
Sure. So it's tough, mainly because of the gatekeepers that we all know that are there and exist. So basically, I figured out a property that I knew they were handling. Okay. And it was a probate property. They do both. And it was a property that I just sold in the community. And they had another property that I found out they were the attorneys on, handling the estate. So I used, with the receptionist, to use the docket number for the case. It's all online, easy to use. So I'd like to speak to whoever is in charge of docket number this. My name is Alex with Huntington and Ellis. I didn't try to hide who I was. So they transferred me to the paralegal. I tried to get past the paralegal to the attorney, didn't happen. But a lot of these paralegals have a lot of power. The attorneys are busy. So they're like, you guys just get it done. I hounded on that paralegal. I didn't get that listing, but I kept in touch with other properties that I found out that they were handling, and eventually they gave me a shot. I have a very simple probate, script that I use that I've developed with other top agents, that handle a lot of that. But it's just that, that persistence, call once a week, but getting past the gatekeeper, using a docket number to get to the paralegal. Sometimes the attorney will pick up, and it's a great way to get into the door.
So how does that conversation go?
Well, I'm very honest. Again, we don't try to hide anything. I tell them exactly why I'm calling. I just sold another home in the neighborhood. I see that you're handling an estate with this property address. Yes, we are. Is that property going to be sold? We don't know yet. The family's deciding if they're gonna, keep it or sell it. Great. What information can I share with them to help make a decision? Can we put together some information for them? That's how that started. We put together some information on where it would sell for, just be of a service. Do they need does the property need to be cleaned out? Do they need anyone to check on the property? A lot of them are out of state. So approaching it from a helpful standpoint, the attorney's busy. They don't have time to do that. And they're supposed to. I just got one last week and the attorney had to schlep out to a bad part of town and they were miserable. So if we can offer to help them, with those things, it's no cost to them and kind of a win-win situation.
So to basically be a resource, be of service.
Yep, be a resource.
Just to an attorney firm. So this identifying a law firm who's doing a decent amount of work in that area, that you do that by how?
I did it with seeing they were doing a big advertising campaign with TV and billboards for estate planning. So, wills, trusts, and then they also deal with probate. Some of them in Nevada, if they die without anything, they're assigned to a law firm, the property, the state of Nevada assigns it somewhere. So they're all going to have that rotating door of properties and dealing with people. So, and it's pretty cool. A lot of the attorneys, they hang out together, and they might ask another friend, hey, you guys have a good realtor, ours retired, or they're moving out of state. You never know. It's fantastic.
So that's been a good source for you.
Yep.
So that's been something that you just recently started doing?
Probably really hard with that one about 16 months ago. I timed it for a conversation, but it didn't take long for them to start referring clients over. They gave me one, killed it, did a great job. Then 1, 2 more. And then now I've gotten probably 12 or 13 in the past 12 months. Listings, wow. Lay down listings. Alex, these people live in North Dakota. They inherited a property. They want to sell it. We told them to call you. So
fantastic. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. How about your past client and sphere base? How big is that?
I have about 400, and that's in my A group, Neil. I have an A and B group. A group is 400. B group, I don't really keep track. It's because it includes, painters and plumbers and guys like that I still call regularly, but don't know how many is in that B group. I add to it every day.
So the A group are people that know you and you know them.
Yes.
How many deals a year are you doing from that A group, do you think?
At least half. At least half. I mean, it's a strong number.
So if you're doing 75 deals, you're doing 35-ish.
Yep, from that A group.
So you're doing about 10%.
Yep.
Do you track that and keep an eye on it, or it's just the way it worked out for you?
Just the way it worked out.
Okay.
Not an analytical at all. I kind of freestyle it a little bit too much, but I work the list hard.
Alex, how can you be not an analytical and be an appraiser?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I don't believe you're not an analytical. Well, that's a good question. Ask Mike Ferry when you see him next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Good job. What do you do to the past client sphere? Because my sense is you're all over the attorneys and you're all over your past client sphere. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. So I try to bring something of value. So I'll give you a great example. So that attorney firm that I was doing all these deals for, they do trusts, right? So I had them do my personal trust because I didn't have one. Because I'm seeing these families that someone passes away, there's no trust, and it goes to the state, goes through probate. It's a nightmare. So I use that. That's just one item of value that I've been bringing to my past clients. That group A is a personal experience. hey, I wanted to make sure that all of my best clients like you know about the process and see if you're interested in learning any more about a family trust to protect you and your family.
Do you do um, a group seminar on that or a Zoom call or anything?
I haven't. I haven't. That's a great idea. It's just a personal phone call. You know, there's a lot. So if they don't pick up, I do have to leave them a voicemail, but it's very simple and to the point. If you're interested, please call me back. But it's not just the same call every time that, hey, I'm calling you with the market update, which is a great call,
Right.
but something else like, oh man, what's Alex calling about this time? And they're appreciative and they're cool and it brings a lot of business.
Clearly, absolutely. Good job. Okay, so when you started in real estate as a salesperson in 12, right?
12.
2012. Okay.
Yes.
And with the same company.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So have you and the recession was already over at the time, but we've gone through a couple of bumps.
Mhm.
So last year when business was off, I don't know, 40%, something like that. What do you have to do with your mindset to keep cranking yourself up a little bit?
It was rough for a few weeks, maybe even a few months mentally. I think for me, just sticking to what we know. I never stopped my morning role play. I was in a role play group every morning and talking to the other agents, and just staying strong, keep doing what we do every day was great. And one of the big things I wanted to share, Neil, is I had to start figuring out where the business is going, and for me personally. And I sat back and I, didn't have a lot going on. Deals were falling apart. And the ones that were going through and going smooth with pricing them right and getting them sold quick, they were people that were relocating out of state. Usually it's people moving into Vegas. A lot of people don't leave, and we have seen a massive people leaving. And it's for two things. It's for jobs, or they're retired and they're moving out of state. And that was like, Alex, these people, they're pricing their homes right. They're open to price reductions. They're motivated. And I had to figure out how to get more. And I was able to figure out how to get more. And that's been one of my number one resources for the past 12 months.
And the more is coming from where?
The more is coming from people selling their home in Las Vegas and moving out of state for work, or they're retiring. They want to be closer to family. They want to be closer to the water, and they're out. And these sellers have been so easy to work with and realistic because they're motivated and want to be gone.
How do you identify that group?
So a lot of it, I'll get into my A list in a minute, but the number one things I worked really hard with my local title company to create a list of people in more affluent areas of Las Vegas, so they've got money, and over the age of 60 years old. And we were making very detailed call lists. I would run them through Mojo Skip Tracer, Vulcan Skip Tracer. So I had definite phone numbers from 2 different sites and reach out to these people and don't take them off the list until I've talked to them. And I can't tell you, I mean, I at least get 1 to 2 solid leads a week from that, Neil, of people who are, yep, we're going to be retiring here soon and we're out of here. We're moving to Florida. I closed 2 deals this week, almost $1 million home each. They both had already bought homes in Florida, and it was just kind of a right timing. And great people.
It's very interesting. Somebody moving out of state, we run into an issue with nothing to sell them if they stay local.
Mhm.
But if they're moving out of state, or they're retiring, their needs change dramatically and there's more available at a lesser price in a lot of cases.
A lot of cases.
Yeah, interesting
Yeah.
strategy. And that's really a just listed, just sold call.
It is.
But it's a just listed, just sold call to people that have lived in their home a lot of years and or are somewhere in the 60-year-old range, plus 60 plus range,
Yes.
which is getting closer to retirement.
Exactly right.
Do you have a lot of two-story homes, Alex, in Las Vegas?
We do.
And those people, I don't know if you have a lot of old communities. One of the things that we've been using here is two-story. We identify the two-story home first. And then secondarily, if they've lived there for 25 to 30 years, which makes that person somewhere in their 70s, because they were in their 40s when they bought that home. I don't know if you have a lot of that going on there, but
You know what, Neil, that's genius. I mean, that makes so much sense. I haven't thought about that yet, but man, with the data analytics
wait. I want my staff to hear what he just said. I've been telling my staff to do this for 10 or 12 years, and you just heard it and thought it was genius. Huh.
It is. And that script could be so simple as we've been helping a lot of your neighbors transition out of their two-story homes, get rid of the stairs into a single story.
Right.
When do you plan on moving? I mean, I'm going to do it today.
Yeah. No, it's been a good source for agents that are working that what I call predictive analytics.
I got to write that down.
All right. Well, I got my attaboy today. What'd you get for your? Oh, that's nice. Good, Alex. So besides that idea, what idea would you recommend for agents that need to crank up some business right now?
I'm not going to name a name, but there is a top agent in my office that I stock his new listings. And 80% of them are old expireds. And I'm talking 1 to 2 year old expireds. And it's there, it's fact. It's happening and I don't do it. And after the stalking over the past few weeks, it's big. I mean, he just took 22 listings in the past 30 days. I've never seen it done before. And I watch, where are they coming from?
Old expireds.
1 to 2 years old. I don't think anybody's calling them and they're listing.
Interesting. I would say in our area, I think we're calling them, but maybe we're not.
I would say, yeah, revisit it and make it happen, because it's our markets are similar.
So one of the things I find in your market versus ours is Las Vegas is a very big community, but it's fairly flat, which means that let me back up a little bit. I find real estate agents find hills, going over a hill into another community, a barrier. And in Vegas, it seems to be in a valley, somewhat
Yes.
a valley. And so do you travel across town that you'll just work around the traffic? Is that kind of how you do it?
I do. Yeah, we're very fortunate, Neil, that everything is flat here, and the way they built the freeway systems, you can get anywhere in 20 minutes. I'm in top of Summerlin. I can get down to Henderson, Anthem in 20 minutes, no problem.
So working the entire Las Vegas metro is something you do.
Exactly right.
See, in our markets, to go what would normally be 20, 30 minutes at rush hour, which is becoming almost all day now, it could take an hour and a half.
Yeah,
And that becomes a bit of an issue for us.
that's an issue. Yeah. And Neil, it's more of a question and a comment at the same time on another recommendation. We had an excellent agent in our office that I didn't know very well, but he knew my work ethic, and he couldn't really take the retail anymore and went to work for a new home builder. And I was able to work a deal with him, and he's been, sending me his retail clients because the home builder doesn't let them work them. So that can be advised on two ways. Agents that are, transitioning, maybe working for a home builder, if you guys have that in your market, or if they are just beat up and going to go do something else, make an offer to, take their clients for them. And that's another source of business that I can see now and coming a lot more in the near future.
No, it's a great point, because a lot of my peers are, 65, 75 years old. And they want to move to Las Vegas and retire. Come your way, right, Alex?
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Good job. Good job. All right, let's open it up for some questions for Alex. Questions for Alex.
Hey, Neil.
You go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, can he share what he tells the 2-year expires? What is the script that he used?
Yep. So great question. So the only thing I change, Michael, is the opening. I tell him who I am, and I say, I saw that your home was listed in 2020. Did that property sell, or is it still available? And most of the time the answer is, yeah, it never sold. It's still available. Great. When do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job to get your home sold? So that starts the conversation. Is your home, did your home sell, or is it still available? And
Okay.
that is the best thing that I've ever said for an old expired.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job. Good. Thanks, Michael. Good work, Alex. Other questions for Alex? Alex, when you got started, did you have to preview property?
Oh yeah. Had to preview property.
And you were an appraiser, though.
I was
Well,
an
it was
appraiser.
4 years since you. Well, yeah, but you knew values, didn't you?
I did. But on the appraiser side, we look at things differently than you would on a salesman side. It's more matter of fact with appraisal versus, being in sales, looking at some things that would appeal emotionally, to a buyer or seller. And it was a change of mindset. So it was important to do that, and I still do it,
You still
Yeah.
preview property?
I do.
Interesting. How many properties do you think you've looked at over the last year or two?
Last year or two, probably a good 500.
500 properties. Let me ask you, Alex, do you think your peers normally see 500 properties?
Nobody does.
Nobody does. The fact that you see 500 properties, does that make you feel confident when you talk to people?
It does. And you know why? Because a lot of the times you're on a presentation and the client will bring it up and like, oh yeah, I actually saw that property. And you can be confident and answer honestly that you did and talk about why or why not. It's something we should consider.
Right. Got it. Do you think real estate agents should be previewing property in general?
I do. It gives you a good idea of, style changes, design changes. Las Vegas has been so new that everything was the same, but now as we're getting older, there's high-end remodels coming in, there's new styles coming in, seeing what's selling, what's not. Why did this house sell for 500,000 more than the house next door? It's very important to know that because our clients know it.
Right. Absolutely. So let's talk about scripts and dialogues for a minute, what to say and how to say it. You spend any time with that?
I do. Yeah, I'm in a West Coast role play group, different partner every morning at 7:30.
Got it. Okay. And how long you been doing that?
Probably about 4 years.
And then when you started in real estate, did you do that?
I did not. I
Okay.
didn't see the value in it.
Interesting. Okay. When did you notice that it might help?
I had a coach that would help me every now and then write down something super sharp in either prospecting clinic at Mike's office or the phone. And it was so awesome, but I didn't have anyone to practice it on. So I was like, I have all these awesome things and no one to practice it on. So that lit that fire to join and do it.
Got it. Fantastic. Good stuff. What's your superpower?
So my superpower is I thought a lot about it, and no matter what's going on, no matter how I feel, I come to the office every single morning, first thing to start the day. Don't feel like making my calls, bad attitude. I come to the office and it seems that everything just kind of melts away. So putting my suit on and my tie on, my Superman outfit and coming here and makes the rest of the day flow.
That's fantastic. Good stuff. All right. You mind answering some questions? Other questions here. Let me see what we have in the chat box. Just a minute. Okay. Got it. So new agent starting out. What's the 1, 2, 3 things you would give them as an assignment? We're going to make you coach for a minute.
Mm-hmm. So new agents, you've got your cell phone and you want to use your cell phone to make calls. I think you need to get a landline in your cubicle or in your office, wherever you are, and just focus on that phone with no distractions for the first few hours of the day. If it's 1 hour, if it's 2 hours, if it's 3 hours. But our cell phones, I mean, I've got to drop mine. I'm lucky to have an assistant when I walk in the door and put it on her desk because it's beeping and there's Instagram and, we get bored and I go to it. So.
Okay, so what you're saying is do the landline or call through the computer maybe, or that's even distracting.
No, call through the computer is just fine.
Okay.
Just, it's funny. So I did a little test with myself. I had my Instagram on the front page of my phone and I moved it back like 3 pages. So I would catch myself and I'm like, it's like a crutch. It's like you just automatically go to our phone if, we have a bad thought or we want to, something to distract us. It's terrible. And
some people call that crack cocaine.
Exactly. It's crack cocaine. And man, what a relief being without it and being able just to focus for a few minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. It's game changing when you're starting. It's creating a great system and habit.
So way too many distractions.
Yeah.
Get rid of the distractions.
Exactly. Second thing as a new agent, come into the office. If you're fortunate to have an office, if you don't, I know some brokerages don't, but come into the office. I don't care what excuse you have. I work better from home. It is not the same. You have to get dressed. If you're not a suit and tie person, dress nice, not that you would wear to a restaurant and what you'd wear to meet clients. And it just helps with your mind, the way you dress and get out of your house, get out of your house and go to the office.
So get out of the house,
Mm-hmm.
leave the cell phone at the front desk,
Mm-hmm.
and come to the office.
Yep.
Anything else?
Try to find one thing that you think you would be good at as far as a part of the business. If it's marketing because you like to go to the gym, or you like to eat out, or you know, start calling, start, you know, stopping by when you're there. It's great, you know, associating with something that you like or your lifestyle and wrap it into that real estate, I think is a great thing to do to get started, help you give confidence and get some clients really quick.
Okay, good. Excellent. Other questions for Alex? Other questions for Alex? Anyone else there? Jump in, call out, raise your hand. Metha,
Hey,
do you-
Alex, I had a question.
David, go ahead.
I want to know what you thought were the most essential forms of prospecting in 2023 right now.
Essential forms of prospecting.
Yeah.
So what are you doing right now, David? Are you anything regularly?
Yeah, right now I'm pretty heavy on my, like you called it, the A-list, or my sphere of influence, cycling through it heavy.
Mhm. Awesome. So yeah, absolutely. Your client list, your A list is definitely number one. Number two has to be the expired and for sale by owners. I know we talk about that a lot, but I'm going to tell you why it's becoming more important right now. Even in a powerful office like I'm in, with minimum standards, and with Mike Ferry being at our office, you know, every few months as a preferred office. A lot of agents have let their foot off the gas. They're burnout, they're tired, and I think there's going to be more opportunity, less phone calls going out to these people than they were getting before.
Great thought. Great thought. Good. Good question. Good answer.
I had a question.
Had 1 second. Rochelle had her hand up first.
Oh,
Hi, Alex. I was
Hi.
just curious what specifically you were referencing to when talking about like the gym and stuff like that, ways of incorporating real estate.
So yeah, great question. I go to a few classes here at a gym, and it's one of the nicer ones, but it doesn't have to be. And so often than not, you know, you're kind of in close quarters with people for, sorry about that, for 30 to 45 minutes. And I've made some great contacts, usually by the same person every day or every, you know, week. And I've gotten some great referrals. Hey, what do you do? What do you do? Yeah, it's awesome. You're here at the gym every day. They can see that you're a strong person, professional. If they learn you're a real estate agent, that kind of stuff, you know, they call it like, you know, your tribe. It works out great. I mountain bike as well. So a lot of the mountain bikers in Vegas, they, you know, we have to go together. So there's groups of 4 or 5, there's different people, letting them know, and just those small little circles can bring you a great amount of business.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Great
welcome.
question. Thanks, Rochelle. Good answer, Alex. Thank you. Who else had their hand up here? Kamal, you got something?
I had a couple of questions. Number one is, he said he gets referrals from home builders. Does he give them referrals, referral compensation, or are they not allowed to do that?
So great question. They were residential agents that worked with us. When they go to the home builders, they can't do any retail business. Okay. So one of their past clients calls and says, hey, we need to sell our home. I can't, but I've been referring everyone to Alex. So I take that client. How you want to, you know, work out a deal with that person is completely, you know, on you and your broker. There's no,
Okay.
you know, it's different in every state. Some builders are okay with it, some aren't. So it's just kind of an upfront arrangement that my broker and myself made, and with them on how we're gonna work a referral.
Okay. And my second question is, what do you do for your mindset? What books or what do you do to keep your mindset very high?
So in the car every morning, I read the Mike Ferry affirmations that we've all gotten in our book. You know, today's a great day. I'm a great salesperson. I almost have them memorized. And I've noticed that on the days that I don't do that, I don't feel as good when I get started, when I start my calls. So that's for me, very important to read through those every morning. I have behind me a mirror and a Mike Ferry pre-prospecting checklist that just reminds us to outgoing calls only, positive, excited attitude only, and talks about how important our tonality is and everything like that that we know, but just that right before you start making your calls, for me, it works.
Good. Great question, Kamal. Thank you. Great answers, Alex. Other questions out there? Armin, did you have a question? No? Okay. Sorry. Got it. Anyone else?
I have a question, Neil.
Please go ahead.
Alex,
You cut off.
I'm sorry.
All right.
So it sounds like everyone's talking about social media and you can't be successful without social media. How much of your business comes from social media and what kind of social media do you do?
So great question. I've never directly gotten a deal from social media. I've never said, someone's never said, hey, I saw your social media. Will you help us buy or sell a house? Where I know I get business from is people look at my social media if they're considering hiring me or my name was given to them to kind of see what kind of business I do, to see if I'm active. And so what I do, I keep it simple. If I'm out touring a property, if I'm showing a property, I'll shoot a few cool little videos. And I'm fortunate to have an assistant. I'll just text them to her. She'll make a little cool reel and post it on Instagram. And that's it. So it keeps it updated. It keeps it live. Our clients can see that we're active. So I think that's important for me is for if they want to research, they're going to see that I'm active. They're going to see that, oh, Alex is going to put our house on social media. It may or may not do anything, but some people think that. And, just to give them that impression is important, and it's worked out very well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Thanks, Ruth.
One more
Hey,
question.
Alex.
Go ahead.
Alex, yeah, when you go in and talk to the paralegal to offer your service, I know you mentioned something about the script. Do you offer services about the clean up the house and things like that in order to attract that? What is you actually offer in order to get the business?
I do. So I put a beautiful little gloss flyer together, and it talks about what we offer. It talks about how, why do most probate homes or estate homes sit on the market? And the three things are they're overpriced, they are in bad condition, and they're not marketed properly. They have poor photos, etc. So those are the three things. And then I put our solutions. I have vendors, Michael, that will go in, they'll clean up the property, they'll take all the trash out and even paint it if needed, and they'll wait until it closes to get paid. And that is a huge asset to the attorneys and to the families that either don't have money or are out of state. And those are some of the main things I offer to differentiate myself to get the deal.
Great, thank you.
Great stuff.
I have a question, Alex.
Yes.
So I know you mentioned briefly your schedule, a little bit of it, but I mean, what time do you wake up? At what time do you get to the office? Do you work the weekends? Like, what's your schedule for the week?
Yeah, so I'm not a gym morning person. I'm trying to be, but I'm not. But I still get up at 6. I read a little bit. Like right now, I'm reading a cool book called The Wealthy Gardener. It's awesome. My coach recommended it. Different books all the time. And I'm in the office at 7:30. I role play from 7:30 to 7:45, and I'm on the phones at 7:45. And I usually call till 11. Take a little break in between. keep going after that, go to lunch. If I have appointments that afternoon, hit the appointments. If not, I usually get back on the phones and keep going.
So when do you preview property? Is it in the afternoon, or is it just when you're showing a buyer, or how does that work?
It would be in the afternoons, or yep, if I go on a listing appointment, if I get it or not, I see what else is in the neighborhood, what's my competition, stop by, check it out. Or if I have some time before from running on time, I do that a lot. Like if there's a listing in the neighborhood, I can tell them, hey, I just went and saw your neighbor's property right before I met with you. So that's a good time to do it. And Saturdays I will only work if it's a just come list me appointment. My weekends are important and I work real hard during the week, so I don't feel bad, not working weekends. When I was newer, my coach, if I didn't hit my contact goal for the week, I would have to come in on Saturday and do it. So now I make sure I get my 30 contacts a day, so I don't have to come in on Saturday and make up for it.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Yep.
Good work. Excellent. Good stuff. Other questions for Alex?
I have a
Hey,
question.
Alex. Go ahead.
How many contacts a day do you do, and how do you break it down as far as, do you call your past clients first? Do you call it, I'm assuming you call it expires first, but how do you do that? And what do you say to your past clients?
What do I say to my past clients? So I keep them in order. So in order to touch all my past clients every quarter, I have to call 5 a day. So you break it down like that, it's super simple. Because if you look at your list, you're like, oh my God, But if you just have to call 5 a day, and it's different. It's a different call. Sometimes I just talk to them. Hey, I just drove by your house, guys. It looked great. I was in the neighborhood. Hope everything's well. It could be, a BS call like that. But we were talking about earlier, recently had my family trust done. I've been reaching out to past clients, letting them know, do you guys have a trust in place? Bring something of value to the past client, Sometimes it's a market update. Sometimes I'll say, hey guys, we have a great list of vendors, painters, electricians, landscapers. Could any of these be of use to you right now? Just something to talk to them about, and if they need a good recommendation, you get it. Happened yesterday. Client needed an electrician. She needs her electrical panel replaced. I sent her my guys. They did a great job. So stuff like that. And as far as how do I get to my 30 contacts a day? When I first get here, I call my hot leads. I learned that from either Tony Smith or oh crap, one of those guys. Hot leads first thing in the morning. That's somebody who said, I want to buy or sell. Maybe you couldn't get a hold of them yesterday, call them again. And then I go straight into the expires, withdrawals, for sale by owners. I have a whole list here. Absentee owners, probate, been calling multifamilies. Notice the default list that's there. It's a rough list, but you can do it. So that's how I get there. It's super easy.
Thank
All
you.
right. Good stuff. Thank you. Justin, you had a question.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. I was off the call for a couple minutes, so I apologize if it's been asked. But just curious. I know a lot of us on this call are consistent making calls, doing the daily disciplines. I mean, if you had to pick one thing, what would you say is the difference between somebody getting the results, doing the activities, and the person that's not getting as great of results?
I would say how we come through over the phone and our excitement about what we're talking about is going to be the big difference right now. Right now, the economy and real estate, people are not excited about. But if we're excited about it and they can hear it through the phone, I think that's going to light up a whole new set of conversations that someone who's just doing it, that they have been next is you're going to be more successful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good question, Justin. Thank you, Alex. All right. Unmute yourselves, everyone. Unmute yourselves. Let's give Alex a big hand. Woo! All right, good job, John.
Thanks,
Great.
everybody.
Great job. Alex, this has been great. We thank you very, very much. What we tend to do right now, I'm getting a little feedback here.
Great interview. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Please mute yourself. Let me mute you.
Thank you.
Hold on, let me, we're gonna go around the room right now and ask everyone what they learned from you. You're welcome to hang out with us, or if you've got a hard stop, we totally understand. We'll go from there. If I've muted everyone, so if you want to talk, unmute yourselves real quick and let's rock and roll. What did we learn today? What did we learn today? Who wants to go first?
Go. I'll
Ruth?
go.
Go ahead.
To go back and look at the old expireds. And actually, while we were doing this, I went back and out of 5 of them, 4 of them had not been relisted. So I'll be knocking on doors.
Good job. I love it. All right, what else did we learn today?
I want to piggyback on that as well. Go ahead.
Sorry, Gonzalo, and then whoever else was.
Richard.
Okay, Gonzalo.
Well, I know variety of the sources, not only the typical expired for survey owners, but of course, you know, just sold, attorneys, probates, notice of default, all the rest.
Good. Good. Great reminder. Thank you. All right, what else? Who was next there?
I was saying something, Richard here. I liked his idea about the probate, you know, and about the paralegal being the gatekeeper and bringing the value. And once that happens, everything just, you know, you will start getting the responses. And the other thing I liked is the past expireds, going after those, and they're out there. And I just listed 2 this week because of that. And then the last thing is that if you don't hit your contacts Monday through Friday, you got to go Saturday. And I think, you know, that's just keeps you committed. And 30 contacts, if you're making these calls like this, 30 contacts, you should get done very easily. Thank you.
Richard, thank you for sharing. Good. What else did we learn today? What else did we learn?
You made a good point about people getting tired out and agents getting tired out and people not getting called. And now is a great time, especially coming at the end of the year, to make those calls and don't assume everybody else is making them.
That's right. That's what we call it, run through the finish line.
Yep.
Everybody's focused right now to run through the finish line for our group, because our competitors are either leaving the business or shutting down for the rest of the year because there's no business to do. So why should I beat myself up, right? Now's the time to put your foot on the gas and throttle down. What else did we learn today?
I learned that tonality is very important when making phone calls.
It is absolutely
very important.
Very critical. Good. Ruth, did you have your?
I did a couple of things. As a matter of fact, I'm going through I just printed out my old expireds, and someone did tell me, oh, they're too old. Don't call them. It's a waste of time. But I've been doing it. And another thing is looking sharp. You got to really be presentable. I mean, even if you go at the doors or hitting an expired or door knocking, just listed, just sold. And then another thing is 30 contacts. 30 contacts is probably the perfect number to make daily. I'm not there yet again. So, and that's the thing that Frank Parra, who's our MFO coach, who's here at the company, he has a small Monday meetings here at the office, and he emphasized for at least 20 minutes how important it is just to keep it small. 30 contacts, don't do 40, 50, 60 a day, because you're gonna wear out. And so I like that, and you basically confirm that too. So it's just keep it low, do the contacts. And again, and another thing that Frank also mentioned is finish your contacts. And if you have to work the weekend, then you have to work the weekend or that Saturday. Right. So thank you so much.
Good job, Ruth. Thank you. Excellent, Alex. Good stuff. What else did we learn today?
Embrace the power of the scripts and role play.
I like that. I kind of like the part where you should call people that over 60, use the Vulcan and the Mojo skip tracer, find them.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then if they live in a 2-story house, it's even more saleable. I think Alex made that quote. Good job. All right, let's go. Unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. And congratulations, Alex. Great job. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Neil.
Really good.